welcome to another show. Don't get this twisted. I am Rob, along with my host always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
That was hard for you to get out, huh, Rob?
Let me tell you, man, I'm telling you, my lungs hurt. I think, like I said, before we got on here, I think I'm getting sick, and it feels like there's just a small dog on my chest right now, not a gorilla yet. So I'm really hoping that I can fight this. Yeah, so it's hard to breathe. But,
nobody should get sick in the summertime. It's too nice outside.
It should be illegal.
It should be illegal.
You're supposed to be sick in the wintertime when it's okay to sit in your house and suffer and eat chicken soup.
And you want to.
Yeah, and you want, exactly.
Nobody
you want
wants
to, like,
chicken soup in 100-degree weather.
Yeah, no shit. That sucks so bad. Sucks so bad. You're like, or like a good, nice big bowl of pho. Something just really good.
Something.
With some, what is that cock sauce that you put in it? What is that, sriracha?
Sriracha, but I still call it cock sauce.
Yeah. That shit is good, though.
It is good.
Either that or I throw a little tapatio in it. That's even...
I'm not a fan.
Really? Not a fan of tapatio?
So it's too vinegary. That and Tabasco.
I don't do Tabasco, but I think tapatio is the next best thing. It's not Tabasco's like vinegar. I can't eat that shit.
Tabasco's kind of disgusting.
I can't do it. Yeah. But Sriracha's bomb, dude.
All those little packets that everybody eats from Taco Bell and Del Taco and
those are all vinegar.
They're all disgusting.
They're all vinegar.
But I will eat cock sauce.
Yeah, cock sauce.
That could come out 100 different ways.
Yeah, I know. Someone's gonna make sure that they get a small snippet of that one and use it somewhere.
They should.
Yeah, it's good stuff though. I actually love Sriracha's really good.
That's funny.
So this week, you have the honor of saying what we're going to talk about, which I slowly forgot. But then once you said it, I kind of giggled. So exactly. How would you like to word that this week, Tina?
Like, why do people spend time worrying about people they're not in contact with and they don't want to have anything to do with them? Why are they so into finding out what that person is doing if they care so little?
Oh, man, that is such an open-ended thing. See, here's the thing. I think back in the day, when there was no social media, it was so easy to just forget about people. Right? Even if they lived in your neighborhood, it was so easy to forget about people because in some cases, you just don't see them.
Yeah.
We lived in the valley, which surprisingly is very, very big. But I ran into people when I worked for a place called The Good Guys way, way back in the day. I ran into so many people from high school that came in there when I worked at Northridge that I thought it was kind of humorous because I looked so different and they didn't. So I'd walk up, I go, yeah, you went to Kennedy, huh? And they would be, I was like, yeah, you didn't know me. You were popular.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody was running their little games.
I just think today it's so easy to, I hate to say stalk people.
But you did.
But it's just easy. And look, at the end of the day, I would say block people from then on. Right. And I know that seems like, I shouldn't have to do that. But if you have like me, I have a public profile on most of my stuff because I don't give a shit. If you want to look at my stuff, more power to you. I think that that's okay. I don't hide nothing. If something's going on, more power to you. But at the end of the day, I think that it's just easy. And then and I don't think that they don't care. I think people who stalk you or look at your profiles or ask people about you, they still care. That's the biggest thing. Look how many people have ex-husbands or ex-wives that are still, stalking other people's profiles to see, to find you, to check yours.
Right?
That's just the way of the world.
Why would my ex's ex want to know anything about me? Like, what are you going to do with that information? It doesn't even make sense to spend your time like planting trees or doing something that's actually worth something, because your knowledge of what I'm doing is not going to change anything.
No, but it's because you live in their head.
Well, I should start dancing then.
But I think that's the biggest thing, though. I think that if you're looking at, I mean, with the exception of like, okay, let's say here's the biggest problem too with algorithms of social media. Mm-hmm. Algorithms remember things. So at some point, if you talk to somebody in the past, somewhere in your future, it's going to be like, do you know this person? So like, that's what happens. And that's how a lot of these things happen, where out of nowhere, you're going to be like, oh, I haven't talked to this person in, 200 weeks. It's like, oh yeah, we stopped talking. We don't do that anymore. And that will pop up, or it'll say like, do you know this person or that? I think that's the biggest problem. You end up perpetually, at some point, it's going to come back around and say, hey, do you know this person? So people who care or cared in the past, they will click on it just to see if it's you, and then, or if it's open, or, like I've been blocked a bazillion times. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't have to worry. I actually prefer that. If you break up with somebody or stop having a relationship with somebody, it's better just to block everyone.
That is absolutely correct. That's what I do. I'm like, oh, we're not going to be friends anymore. Cool. Let's make sure you don't have access to my world, because I don't want you nor need you to know. And we could just go on hating each other. It's fine. It's totally okay. And you know what? That's for my sanity too. I don't need to see everybody's stuff and what they're doing and find any reason to frustrate myself. I don't want it.
100%. And I think that's why, like, I prefer the other way as well. Like, it's okay. You can block me. Like, It's just good for everyone's sanity.
Yeah.
Like 100%. like
see ya, we're good.
Yeah.
Life goes on, and you shouldn't even be a part of it. If you're not in my life, you don't need to be stalking me. You don't need to be looking at my shit.
Well, and I think it's good for both parties. It's not like, even if it's someone you don't hate, it's just good for your mental health.
It absolutely is.
Like, let's say if you have feelings or had feelings for someone, the worst thing that can happen is something comes up and you're like, oh, they have a girlfriend now. And that just, because your mind wanders, and then your mind goes, I wonder what would have happened if I would have stayed with him. And now he has this girl and she's ugly and I don't like her. And then you're checking her profile. And then that's perpetually, then you're watching what she's doing and what kind of girl she is. And it's a nightmare of your own brain, going, what would have been, instead of just going, hey, it was a good time. It didn't work. And everyone moves on.
It's also throwing shade, though. I've been around the block enough to know, and even when I was younger, like, I wanted a person to hurt. Oh, I hope they get with her, and I hope she does this and that.
Right.
And I'm like, I wasted. My ex taught me that. We were in a situation where I was like, why don't you just confront this person? And he said, why? He goes, because all I'm going to do is get tar on my hands. And I thought about that, he was absolutely right. So it made me start to try it. Like, let's see if I could just ignore somebody, or let's see if I could not engage in that, or let's not, basically engage in a confrontation. Let's let it all fly. Let them burn themselves out, and then maybe I won't have to deal with it anymore. And I found that the less I dealt with it, the better off mentally I was.
Right.
And that was like, he gave me that gift a long, long time ago. We weren't even married at that point. And I have to say that was one of the things I'm most grateful for, is that he taught me how to not give a shit. Don't fight. You don't need to engage. And then one thing that I always thought that maybe that was a weak stance to take, but in doing so, you have to use a lot more willpower to not engage than you ever would energy to have to engage. So it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength that you could hold your mud and not deal with all the chaos that's going around you. And I'm so grateful that he taught me that, because I have a lot of people, close people, that in one shot they were kind of gone, and I just blocked everything, and I haven't known anything about them since, nor do I want to. The only thing I hear is when somebody says, "Hey, did you hear it?" I'm like, well, now I did, but I'm not looking for that. Mm-hmm. So life has been good not knowing all their shit. So I don't get it. I'm having a hard time understanding why anybody even cares.
I got some crazy statistics because, well,
that's what you do.
I just threw it in the old search engine here. Man, I almost don't want to read them. So cyber stalking is more common than traditional stalking, with approximately 1.5 million people being cyber stalked victims as of 2019.
Like, to what degree, though? Are we talking?
I got that coming.
Okay.
Hold on. Hold that thought. Because, wow. Nearly half of the stalking victims face threats that threaten their safety, with 72 of stalking victims reporting being threatened with physical harm. 72%. Let's see. Technology is increasingly used as a means of stalking, with 80% of the stalking victims reporting being stalked through technology. So now they're not even like coming to your house anymore. They just sit on your profile.
They don't even have to brush their teeth to go out in the morning to stalk somebody. What the hell?
Yeah. And of course, this is probably not a shock. Women are more likely to be stalked by acquaintances or current former intimate partners, with 42% of stalking victims being stalked by someone they know.
How fun is that?
Yeah, 42%. I thought it would have been more. I mean, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
I think that's a lot.
No, it is, but I would have thought like that by someone they know, it would have been more. Not being stalked at all, but like, because like there's so many profiles that can pop up that you can click on, and then people just stalk that profile even though they don't know you.
Mm-hmm.
Where people they know, I thought it would have been in the 50%, like more, because obviously people. Let's see. Stalking victims often experience repeated unwanted contacts or behaviors that cause fear or emotional distress, with 32% of victims experiencing monitoring using social media. So yeah, this is obviously in this day and age much more prevalent than before. Although I'm sure people just stalked your house before or stood outside. I've seen that recently. I had a friend who I was over their house one night, and an ex-boyfriend of hers called her on the phone and said, "I know he's there."
How fun is that?
Yeah. Interesting, needless to say. Which it was funny because, and again, I don't want to say that my friend was naive, just probably very nice. Actually, she was like, "Oh, I'm sure he hasn't done this before." And I was like, "Oh no, he's done this before. He just didn't have to say anything to you because there was nobody here." So I go, that wasn't the first time he just happened to be around the house. Like, that's not how it works, And if it was
not,
and if it was, this guy hit like the jackpot because there was somebody's car parked in front. My guess is that he knew the car from another time that I might have been hanging out over there, and that it just steamrolled into, I better go check if there's somebody there.
Okay, so that's a perfect example. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to do that? Why do you want to go and hurt yourself and find out that life goes on? Why not just know that immediately that life goes on and start going that direction? Why would you want to put your situation like Why would you want to make it harder on yourself? Breakups are hard. Not talking to somebody that you once loved, that's hard. But it's way harder if you see them going on than rather than you just living your life and you moving on.
Correct. Okay. So in this particular case, the person who was on the outside was continuously calling her as well. And she would pick up and then they would talk, even though it was.
So she gave him attention for bad behavior.
Right. Well, and even though during those conversations, it was said that it was over. She was just too nice.
No, she was literally stringing him along. Because if it was over, she shouldn't be answering the damn phone either. She shouldn't be answering it. She shouldn't be engaging. They shouldn't be having any more conversations. She shouldn't be, oh, I feel bad because he knows it's over. None of that. None of Correct. That should be happening. Life should be going on, and he should be going his way, and she should be going hers. But she's entertaining the situation.
I agree. But, going through that with several different friends, this isn't just the first one. I've seen it. I've seen it a lot with, and I hate to say women, but women are just nice sometimes and will, and some of that was probably stringing people along. Some was just trying to not hurt somebody on the way out. I've seen it a lot in divorce situations where the husband is now going through divorce, but still trying to hold on and keep hope alive, even though everyone knows it's over. I think a lot of that stuff, and I guarantee see, during that, when I went through my divorce, even though social media was pretty prevalent at the time, my ex didn't have a social media presence. Mm-hmm. And if it was very, very small, almost non-existent. So I didn't have to worry about that kind of thing, which is good.
So I think go ahead, finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say that I understand the whole thing of that world. I don't understand why you would do it. Like you said, it's all you're doing is slowly poking holes in your own skin. Because that 90% of the time they're moving on or they already have someone. So why put yourself through that over and over and over again? It's self-harm.
Oh yeah, it totally is. My ex and I told you 100 times, we had a pretty decent exiting situation. We didn't harm each other. There was no drama. There was no big issues. We were both done, and we just made that happen as civilly as possible. And I remember having a dream, which I don't know, this is off the subject, but here it goes. I had a dream that he came over for a holiday and he brought his new girlfriend with him that I had never met. And I opened the door because I saw that somebody was walking up, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" Gave him a hug, and, he walked in, and then there was somebody behind him, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" Gave them a hug, walked them in. He introduced me as his new girlfriend. And I'm like, "Nice to meet you. It's nice to finally meet you. Please come in." Go ahead. And as they were walking away, he said to her, "You might want to talk to her. She might be able to give you a different perspective on me than I can." And I woke up and I was laughing. I woke up laughing, and it was funny to me because I would have been that person to do that and said, "You know what? I noticed when we were together, he did this, and I noticed that it was better when I acted this way, and I actually had a couple people in my life that I dated, and then they were with somebody else, and I gave their new person a little tidbit to make living with them easier. And it worked out great. It came from the heart. It was the truth, and that's how it was. So I noticed that now my ex is way into his social media way more than ever. And, I've seen things, but I'm always so happy for him, because one of the things that I was most worried for was that he wouldn't take care of himself. Like, he wasn't somebody to cook, and he didn't take his vitamins like he should without me saying, "Hey, you want these?" Like, so I was afraid that he wouldn't be healthy, or that he wouldn't, I don't know, how would he live without me? Let's just put it that way.
Right.
But you know what? I'm glad to see that I don't have to hold that guilt, because he's fine. But I don't really, if it shows up and I happen to scroll, and I see it, I'm happy for him. But if I don't see it, I really don't care. And I don't think he does either. I think I've never been, maybe he's driven by my house to see if I was there. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think he'd waste his time, because he was the one that taught me not to give a shit about that. And truly, I don't check people's things. I don't want to know. If I'm seeing something through another person on social media about somebody I don't like, or they're in it, I just block them too. You could do it without blocking too. You could just ignore or unfollow, or do whatever the hell you got to do. And I do that and say, you know what? You guys are great for each other. Stick it out. Like, see if life is better knowing each other. Like, go for it. Because I'm on a different path.
I agree. I think that you have to find a way to let go. Mm-hmm. And social media is the death of that, right? It's right in your face. It'll pop up when you don't want to see it. It's kind of like, the worst thing is like memories. When memories pop up, that's another like horrible thing, because all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, like this is what I was doing 2 years ago. And you're like, fuck. Like, so the best way of doing that, I think too, is, and I'm torn between, I'm torn between two different things, right? Where social media is a kind of a weird thing. So do you, I'll give you an example. I'll throw it at you and you tell me what you would do. Would you, let's say you have umpteen pictures on your thing. Would you get rid of all the pictures with that person in it, or would you leave them as part of your life?
I haven't edited my accounts in any way. So
you just keep the photos?
Yeah. I guess.
Right. But see, like for me, those are the type of things where you have to be careful, because those things are going to come back on you at some point.
Listen, if you had a life for 52 years and somebody comes into it, why would you get rid of your old life? That's made you who you are with this person. And if I wouldn't put that stuff back up, like, you wouldn't see me repost a memory. That would be foolish, because you're not with the right person. But what am I going to do? Lie and say I wasn't married for 17 years? Like, that's kind of a bit of change,
Right. I get you.
I don't think anybody should make you, or even like make you feel bad that you didn't get rid of it. Like, that's your life, and it's a part of you, and it's always going to pop up. Like, my ex said the same thing. You need to get rid of all your ex's pictures, all the letters, all the stuff, anything that I had kept from whenever. And I said, no, I'm going to put it in a box up in my closet, and that's where it's going to stay, because it's my life, And then he got rid of all, because he believed that. He got rid of all kinds of pictures and everything that he could have. And I said, why would you delete your life from you? Doesn't make sense. Right. But over the years, other pictures have popped up, because not everybody threw their stuff away, and he had to see it anyway. So I don't know. I think that's foolish. Grow up.
I'm just saying, I can see why people would do both. Yeah. It's kind of like how I see it. It's because if you've been utterly hurt by somebody, And I'm talking about not in marriage, because marriage is a whole other thing, because you're going to end up with family pictures,
everything pictures.
Right. That's really hard to just let go of. I just think mostly if you've put in years and years and years, you have kids together, you have, birthdays with parents, there's all kinds of things that are going to bring up memories. You're never going to get out of that. You probably shouldn't, because it's a serious part of your life.
Exactly.
But if you were maybe with, dated someone for like 3 years and it went sour, and I mean really sour, like bad juju, bad, then I can see getting rid of people that are, that you don't want like that in your life. I can understand that. It's kind of a mix of both.
I can understand that if it was really bad, but why would you want to be with somebody that's really bad? You should have been done with that way before it was really, really bad.
Right.
I don't know. I'm at an age where I just don't give a shit to be unhappy. And so if it's gonna mess up my peace, or if it's gonna make me think of, oh, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, I don't want that in my life. Nobody should want that in their lives. Life is too short. And if there's somebody you don't want in your life, you should stay off their fucking social medias. You should stay away from their street that they live on. You should move as far from that as you possibly can, and don't look back, or quit being a fucking hypocrite. Because you're a hypocrite if you keep going back and looking at stuff that's none of your business.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If you're going back and looking at stuff, you can't get mad. It's on you. Like literally.
It is. Literally.
Yeah. My thing too is even like short-term stuff. If you break up with somebody, or you're going through a breakup, you have to block, get away, make sure everything goes away, for the sanity of everyone involved.
Right.
Like you just have to. And here's the thing too, like I'll give you an example of, if you are with somebody, or you have a relationship with somebody, or a friendship with somebody, and you guys decide to not have that anymore, I think it's okay to go to someone and say, look, like, I can't be around you. I can't do this, and just disappear. It doesn't mean that you have ill will. It just means that you want to make sure both parties' life goes on without having to worry about stumbling through each other. You know what I mean? Because like, I think a lot of people, say, hey, we need to continue to be friends. And that sounds really easy on paper, but it's not. And then that leads to like crazy profile viewing, or asking other people how you're doing. It's just not a good, healthy way of doing things.
I was in a situation where I had to tell one of my, at the time, best friends that I didn't want to have anything to do with another friend of mine. They were close at the time, and I was like, you know what? I hit my limit. I don't want anything to do with this girl. I don't care what is, the problem. I don't care what you got going on with her. I don't care. Have that. But do me a favor and either pick one or the other of us to go to like any parties or vacations or whatever you want to do. And I said, I don't care if you never pick me, but I can't do this anymore. And it turned into this big, I can't believe you're telling me what to do and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, no, I'm saying be my friend and look out for me, and just don't have me around that. I'm okay to never go to another party. I'm okay. Just let me know when she won't be there, and I'll be there for you. It's so easy to just get out of somebody's way, right? No, it wasn't, because that turned into a fight. And guess what? Me and my bestie at the time were no longer friends. Right. Because like, if you I don't know what her reasoning is, but when I thought about it, I said, why do I want somebody around that wants me to be around somebody that would hurt me? That's not a friend.
Correct.
And I had to do that a lot of times. She was the type of friend in school that would always say, I'm not friends with her, so you can't be either. And I was like, whoa, your problems are not my problems. But she, she made those rules up. And then when I finally said I had had enough and I didn't want to be a part of this person's life, then it was, you should never tell me who to be friends. You're not the one in charge of me. I'm like, no, okay. So guess what? We're not going to be friends either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me going forward, I've kind of put myself in that situation mostly from a dating standpoint that, if things don't work out and it's better for everyone's mental health and longevity of their new relationship, just don't be involved in it. It's not like be man enough or woman enough, whoever's the one that has to say it, to go to somebody and just go, look, like, I care about you and all these great things, but I don't need to see you with somebody else. Mm-hmm. And it's just better for me. I wish you well, but I can't do it. And truly, I just think that it definitely helps. And if you know people who know them, don't ask.
Yeah. I don't care to know. And as a matter of fact, I've even made it a rule. I don't want to know anything about this person. So when we go out, they're off limits. Let's just keep it at that. And, I could do it because when I'm there, I'm there. But I've noticed that not too many people can reciprocate that. Like they have to say something almost every time. Right. And okay, say it, but I don't, then I look at them like, are you done? Can we move on?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's why everything goes the way it does. That's why people then open up social media and then try to find you again. And then, some things are just better ended.
Most things, when the end comes, it's better to end it.
Yeah. That's why, and I'll tell you, like, for me, from a married standpoint, once you get a divorce, you really, really, really have to get rid of everything that you can see of their life if you want to start over.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, for me, it was difficult to have to do things. My son was young. So like we would still have birthday parties for him where I had to go and she was there with her new boyfriend and then turned husband. So
and you were single.
And I was single. Mm-hmm. So like it's already difficult. So why make it more difficult? Right. You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't make any sense to purposely put yourself in that situation. Just walk away. So, which made it much easier. So there was no social media to look at. So for me, when you have to just go to the party, do the party, and then go home, it's easier. Mm-hmm. At least it was for me, because then you start getting used to it and you understand like life goes on. Where social media, you see the bright spots of everyone's shit.
The only thing you see is the good ones.
Yeah, they're not putting in like the argument they had last night with their boyfriend, because that's the reality. That's what's really happening. And most of these people where they are having a relationship with somebody, it's all the bright spots, and then all of a sudden their profile picture changes. And you're like, oh, that's weird. It's just poof, new relationship or single again. So by stalking somebody or looking at their social medias, you're not getting the reality of what their life is. You're getting the best show you can, and they want you to know. And then, like I said, you might find out, 3 months later that they're single again and, going through their next glow up.
And you got to also remember who you were with. Like when you're looking at somebody else's social media, their life is great and they got this and they got that. You know what they're like. Why would you worry about, oh, their life is so great now? No, it's not. You're still living with the same person.
Right.
They didn't change all of a sudden.
Correct. You're right. That's a better way of looking at it.
Like,
it's the same person. Right.
It's the same person you couldn't stand and ran away from. Run and don't look back then. Just don't. God.
You know what they're putting that person through.
I do. See, and that's the thing. I could see it with my friends a mile away. I'm like, okay, you're upset that he's done with you. Fuck, I'm glad he's not doing that to you anymore. Let him do whatever he wants to whomever he wants to, and be grateful you got out of the train wreck's way. Right.
That's a good point. Like, even though you see them doing well, you still know who that person is.
Yeah. I mean, be honest with yourself. I'm not saying like, oh, he's gone, I'll never love again. Don't be that person. You're getting older. You know better. Don't do that. Right. You know that this wasn't working for you for a long time and you weren't happy, and God set you free. So now that you're free, don't be like, oh, his life is so great. I miss him so much. It's not. Right. He just got a better advertising person or marketing person and made himself look better than he actually is. Like, come on.
And again, even if, let's say they did change, they didn't change for you.
And they didn't change that much either.
Right.
We're not big changing people. We're for lack of a better word, we're kind of like tweakers. We could tweak with the sound a little bit. We could turn the bass up. We could turn, the treble this. We could do all that. It's tweaking. It's not changing. There's not the core of who you are. You're still that person.
Absolutely. That you might have changed a little, but the core is definitely there.
Especially if it's right after a breakup. I could see not talking to somebody for 10 years and being like, wow, this person's really changed. Because life will do that to you. It matures you. It finds a way of humbling you and turning you back into a real person. You're not Pinocchio anymore. You're just who you are now. I get that on that level, but nah, not 2 years into it. Not even a little.
Absolutely. I would say, long periods of time, I would absolutely think that you changed a little.
Long periods of time, I think you changed quite a bit. Because you've been tweaking it for 10 years and trying to get it right and getting the lessons, and you'll get repeated lessons of the same situations so that you're actually finally different. But let's be realistic. Why do you want to put yourself through that? I personally, because I've been stalked lately, or well, maybe we shouldn't say stalked. I've been
looked at
under a microscope, whatever. Had a bunch of downloads on the podcast so that you could hear exactly what's going on in my world. And by the way, nobody's heard shit, to be honest with you. So my life is good and it's full, and what I give you guys here in an hour is a crumb to what is really happening in my world. And you'll never know because it's my world. But if you got all that time, why don't you go save a planet, save the planet, plant a tree, go clean out the ocean, do some dog walking for an old lady. Like, if you got that much time to sit and stalk, what are you doing with your life? Like, that should be, look at you. What are you doing? You're better than that. Do something different. Like, my life is not all that like interesting, It's not. Correct. I'm having a damn good time, but that's for me. Like, looking at somebody from the outside, looking at me, I'm like, why would they bother?
I just don't think I'm that special.
Me neither. Me neither.
I'm kind of a simple cuss, so like.
And if we were that special, the people would still be around us. So why are they bothering? I'm so like, it's funny to me. And I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, how did you not learn this already? If you don't like something, stay the hell away from it. If I don't like my fingers getting burnt, I definitely don't use my hands to turn over a tortilla. I'll get the tongs. Like, you should learn how to get past it, not caught up in it. Why would you get tar on your hands? That's what my ex would tell me.
I mean, it's kind of true because you're just asking to hurt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't do your best not to. And like at the end of time, you know, your life, I think a lot of it has to do too, that if mostly from a relationship standpoint, if someone starts dating someone right away and you stay single, then that's when it generally happens. But generally when both people have somebody, that's when it fully ends, because care is not there anymore. You're like, okay, well, I got somebody now. I'm moving the fuck on.
Yeah, but you know what? Even the people that like go from one relationship to the next, they're not fixing anything. They're not mending their broken heart. They're not looking at where they should change their beliefs or their actions or anything. Like, you don't learn anything from jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. If you're not taking a minute, you should probably look and see why.
Yeah. I mean, you have to heal yourself. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have to definitely.
You have to go through the process. There's no shortcuts to fixing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to go through the whole process.
Right. And, you know, sometimes you end up in something that is worse than the last one.
Right. Because you didn't stop and think about what you were doing.
Correct. That's 100%. You know, but those are the things that you don't know. And like I said, from the outside looking in as a stalking or looking at profiles or even asking friends, because I think that's another, you know, I've seen a friend of mine, their soon to be ex was befriending current friends that to see, you know, to try to get information, which is just, you know, a whole nother
you should be ashamed of yourself doing that. Like, in all honesty, it just shows like, well, your life isn't better without me. I won.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it shows me.
And at the end of the day, like, again, you're just going to find out shit you really don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
You're just, and then what? Then you find that out, and then you're mad and you're pissed, and then it's a whole other monster of destroying yourself, and it's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
And if you think it's already happening, it probably is.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like, just go on. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right to move on. And again, I'm a big fan of the blocking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone you know is looking, block them. It's okay. Like, there's nothing to be ashamed about with that. It's like, I'm moving on. You should be moving on. Everyone will be okay. And then I think later on in life, if you know, things prohibit, you can maybe build a friendship again because you've both moved on and matured. So there's nothing wrong with that. Just,
and didn't act like a stalking fool.
Yeah. And just be okay with it. Be okay with being who you are and how things happen. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not, to me, it's just not healthy long run. You're just hurting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are you really getting out of it? You know what I mean? Like you're just not getting anything out of it long run, except just a headache, and heartache in most of the time. So just don't. Or here's the bigger thing. Let's end this show on a reality thing. If you really want to know, fucking call somebody.
Ooh. Yeah, quit being a stubborn fool and fix what's broken.
Yeah.
You're right on that. You're absolutely right on that.
Just call them and say, hey, I was just wondering what's going on. I know we haven't talked in forever. And, or even if you don't call, reach out to somebody and just go, hey, I'm just wondering how you're doing. If this isn't me trying to get back with you, it's just a check-in to say,
they got love songs about that.
Yeah. But I even think that's okay. As long as it's done with the right mentality of like being true to yourself, that you're doing it for no ulterior motive. Like, I just want to make sure you're doing okay. And then you'll get the answer. The answer is like, yeah, I'm doing well. And this is what's going on. And, this is where I'm at. Perfect. Because if you really give a shit about the person, you'll be okay with them being better. That's okay.
Or you won't.
Or you won't. but okay, but then if you're not, then you really know you shouldn't be listening and looking.
Yeah.
Then it's over and it's okay to be done. There's nothing wrong with being done either. I think that that's the bigger thing too.
It's freeing to be done. It is.
It is. And it's also freeing to tell them you're done. It's okay to go to the person that you were with and just go, look, I don't feel that way. Sorry.
No, sorry. Quit saying sorry if you're not sorry. You know what I mean? I don't agree with you. Well, we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this isn't a sorry life, and everybody says sorry all the time, but sorry means you won't do it again. So if you're offended by something I said or did, well, put on your big girl panties. It's going to happen again.
Correct.
Because I'm not going to not be me. And if you're offended, that's your cha-cha.
I think more I'm talking maybe like a relationship standpoint where it's just like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. Just life has gone on and that's it. And it's okay. I think the sorry is more for like, if you see something, I'm sorry that you have to see it, but I've moved on. So it's okay. That's just the way of the world. I think social media has ruined a lot of things. It's like, it's too easy to get into someone's life, even though, like we've said before, that life is probably 90% not real.
Yeah.
Because you're only seeing the best parts.
You're only seeing a picture or like a little tiny snippet of one day in their life. Mm-hmm. And not every minute of every day is going to be miserable so that you're happy with them. Like, that's not the way life works.
Right. And generally, if you know them, you know that that's also the truth. Like we said, like 9 times out of 10, you know who the shitty person they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're a shitty person, the stuff you're seeing is them putting a mask on how shitty they are. You know what I mean? Yeah. So at the end of the day, shitty people are going to stay shitty. They're just, that doesn't change. Their core beliefs don't change. Who they are generally doesn't change. So look, I would say it is best for you to move on and get over things. And if it is best for you at the end of the day to not talk to somebody and not be in their life, do it, because it's better for you.
Yeah. Either get over it, fix it, or completely get it out of your life. Period.
Correct. I would say fix it. I'm a big thing of like, and to me, fixing it can also be that, hey, this is the way I feel about you. It's better that we don't talk. To me, that's fixing it. It's like, I have no problem with
resolution. You're having, you're saying, I'm not going to do this with you anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least everybody knows where they stand.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think that again, that is the biggest resolution you can have. And at the end of the day, people end up happier or fix it. Like, I want you in my life. I want this to work. I want this to be a relationship, even though it's only going to be a certain kind of relationship. If you're in love with somebody, you can't be friends with them. I think it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. So if you're in love with somebody and they have moved on, you have to find a way to move on. You just have to slowly unlove them and you'll move on. You can't carry that kind of thing around with you. It's the ultimate baggage. And
plus it'll only make you make the same mistake over and over and over.
Right. It's going to affect your life forever if you continue to be like that. It's that's just a fact. So, and stalking is never going to let you be free of that person.
Right.
So my thing is, if you're going to go back and look at profiles, you better not be in love with them anymore, because that's going to be the only way where you can stand back and fully say, oh, I'm happy for them, because you've moved on as well and found whatever it is that you need.
Better yet, put down your damn phone or the computer and go take a walk, or go get in the pool, or do whatever the hell you got to do so that you're not like sitting there in misery by yourself, regretting life. Like, stop doing that.
I agree. I think the best thing you can do is fill your time with other things and other people.
Productive things.
Yeah. New friends. I think friends are like the best thing. Finding a way to move on with something different. Once you do that, it makes things much easier to really forget about people or move on from people. So
absolutely.
And once you're there, it's a great feeling, actually. It's a great feeling to just go, or see somebody's pictures and go, yeah, they're doing well. And then it ends at that. And that's a big thing. Or like I said, if you text somebody and you really mean like, hey, I'm just seeing where you're at, it's nice to hear, you know what, I'm doing good. It is. And then you feel totally different. You're like, great. I actually am glad you're doing well, because you've moved on and you're good. So I think that's a nice thing to hear. But I
think it is too, because when you see they're moving on, it's a lot easier for you to move on as well.
For sure. I mean, I was a little luckier that in my marriage, like my ex-wife ended up getting married like 5 or 6 years later. But she started dating someone like not too long after. So it was like, okay, well, I guess it's time for me to just see the reality. Yeah. So it actually helped me, I think long run, just like, okay, it's time to move on. Life happens.
and it's supposed to.
And when everybody realizes that, it's a much bigger picture. Mostly from a marriage standpoint. I think once you realize that like everyone's moving in a different direction, great. Like, no big deal. So
Life goes on.
Yeah, life does. And it does. And I just told somebody this the other day. You know, life goes on because it has to. It just has to. And once you realize that that's the easier way of looking at it, it's like, oh yeah, it'll go on.
The only thing that doesn't change is change.
That is 100% correct. And as long as you realize that part, you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everyone involved will be okay. I know that that's, you know, when you're getting a divorce or going through a breakup, you know, it's hard to see the positive. It just is. And, you know, I don't want to say that it was easy for me, but once I had that epiphany or that wake up call, man, did it get easier.
See, and for me, by the time everything, you know, when people are out of my life or when they're leaving, I'm so beyond just tired that I just kind of go, okay, you know, let's work with this because they made a decision. Now I could breathe. And I don't know, it's kind of liberating, to be honest with you.
Exactly. I feel the same way where you just finally go, okay.
Life goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't question it anymore. I like that part of it. You just don't, you stop questioning yourself about it and you go, look, and I think both me and you are a very similar thing when it comes to this. If you make your way back to my life, I'll be here. I won't be the same. I won't be the same, but I'm willing to let you be in my life as long as, you know, we talk it out.
Not that you won't be the same. You won't live the same situation again.
That's what I mean by not being the same.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
correct.
not. You're not going to get the love you got the first time, but you'll have what I'm willing to give you this time.
Correct, and I think that that's generally a very fair thing to do. You know, I'm not going to let you break me again.
Well, not only that, you didn't like it the first time, so don't expect it this time.
Correct. I'm also a true believer that, like, the second time around, if let's say a relationship, let's not say a friendship or a family relationship, because I think those are two totally different things. A relationship, sometimes you have to leave the relationship, get burned, and then realize that what you had was good. But when you come back to that, you have to realize that might not be there anymore.
Different time.
Yeah. Where a friendships are very bizarre because, like, mostly I think young friendships where, like, me and my best friend beat the shit out of each other in his backyard. Like, and I mean, literally. This isn't like, ooh, ha, ha, ha. No, like, we were rolling in the fucking dirt and leaves and throwing haymakers. The next day I went back over there and was like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry. Like, so I think, you know, short-term stuff is very easy to fix, where a long friendship, like now, me and him have been friends 40 years. It's like, we giggle about that kind of shit where it's just a different kind of thing where friendships, I think, are generally roller coaster rides as young people, where, like, now we would never even let it get that far. I'd be like, nah, we're not doing that shit, dude. Come on. Like,
right.
Let's not even get that far. Like, relax. Like, we're good. So, and then family relationships are a whole other bag of wax. Like, I can't even, those are more difficult, I think, to come around to. You know, like, I had issues with my mom. So that one was, I nipped it in the bud really quick, so it didn't have to get there. But I've heard stories about, like, mother-in-laws. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. Like, shit that I couldn't believe.
I told my ex, I said, you should really consider not marrying me knowing who my mom is. Like, because she's going to be in our life giving you the business. But he learned how to handle it.
Yeah, you do. But what I'm saying is that like it can bury people.
It can bury a relationship quick.
Yeah. You know, the best kind of mother-in-law, and I mean this wholeheartedly and in the best way possible, is one that doesn't live in the same city as you. Because at least there's that.
But that they don't live so far that they have to stay with you for extended periods of time.
Oof, yes, that can get you.
Yeah.
That can get you.
You got some feels on that one.
Mine lived with me for a little while. And I would love to say I could shit on my ex-mother-in-law, but I can't. Mm-hmm. She was a good lady. She passed away, unfortunately, but she was a good lady. She took care of my kids. She was just a good lady. I can't say anything bad about her, but it is difficult. Even though they're good, it's difficult to have them in your house. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So like, I couldn't imagine having a shitty mother-in-law or father-in-law in the same house.
Yeah, me neither, because I had the best.
Yeah, it would, tear
all
you
bad
apart
all the time.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't want to come home. It's already bad enough when you have a mate that you don't want to come home to. Could you imagine having to come home to your mate that you're having issues with, plus the mother-in-law or father-in-law?
No, can't say that I do.
Yeah, fuck that.
Funny.
Yeah, that'll drive you to divorce. What do you know? Mm-hmm. What's your last thing to say on this lovely subject? We've gone an hour. It's been a while since we did an hour show.
Well, if you're watching me, keep watching me, because I'm sure I'll do more shit that makes you mad.
Yeah, I mean, truly, that's probably true with me. If you listen to this show, you're probably gonna hear.
Especially if you know us and you don't like us already. Yeah. Please keep listening.
And in my case, you're probably going to hear stories about you. Oh. Because that's just who I am.
For the most part, I don't give a shit to tell your story. So I'll do everything I can not to.
I don't mean to say stories. I just think that you're going to be used as a beacon of my
reference.
Life. Yeah. That's how things are. And if you don't like that, probably not the best idea to listen. Mm-hmm. But generally, me and you both don't, we don't pad things very well. We don't
don't want to. You get it the way we see it, and that's that.
I unfortunately will vomit shit out, and that's just the way I am. And
that sounded so gross, by the way.
Yeah, I know but it's true. You know what I mean? Like I verbally vomit, and then I'm getting more and more like you, to where if it's not within like 2 or 3 weeks, I don't remember. Mm-hmm. and I've had a friend currently listening to old shows, and she's like, well, you said this. And I was like, I did.
You could take any piece out of anything that either Rob or I have said and turn it into something completely different.
Correct.
And if you want to do that, knock yourself out. But don't expect us to be able to say we said that, because you took it out of context.
Yeah. And then now what I say is, like, if someone says that to me, I go, I need the show number. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know what I said. Look.
And see, if you do that to me, I just go, and like, what?
Right. But, this is what I try to say now. You got to give me the context. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know. I say shit all the time, and who knows what, or it's not about you. That's the other thing.
Wrong Why person. Are you getting worked up about this?
Right. You're listening to something and it's not even about you.
Yeah. My life before you is not up for negotiation.
Right. But I've said that to people. Thankfully, I'm like, look, that's not you. And they were like, oh, I was like, I'm not sorry. Like, that isn't you. It's this person from even longer ago. So, or it's about my ex-wife and I just didn't say it at the time.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, look, people are going to stalk you. People are going to look, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately, in the time we're in, or just don't have social media anymore.
Well, I don't do much of that either. So,
yeah.
But if I can make you upset because you're listening to something that I put out, not for you, but it's happening, well, kudos to me.
Yeah. And look, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. I do my best not to poo-poo on people, but it's probably going to happen.
Yep. It happens, but we need to wrap this up because we're
ma'am.
An hour and 5.
And not only that, I got to eat.
Me too.
I'm famished and I don't feel good. So
time to go to bed.
Yeah, probably some sleep. Not too long after this. Okay. You can check us out on social medias, that Facebook, all that shit that we've just been talking about. You can check us out on there.
Stalk us there.
Stalk us there, please. Actually, stalk us more there because it'd be nice to hear more about that. Like, say things. And you can check us out on pretty much anywhere you podcast, but Spotify, Apple are the biggies. And it's a Opinion Show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. For Tina, I'm Rob. We'll see you later.
See ya.